All right, guys, you may notice today that we're not going to be recording the podcast live on YouTube. So I wanted to do this. We will have the podcast. Podcast is posting as we speak if it's not posted already. But it's kind of sort of a revisit of some great topics that we had recently that people have been asking about. So no live video, but the podcast will be posted. Instead, what we're going to do is since it is Christmas week, a lot of people are going to be taking off this week, have taken off this week, and are going to be doing some fishing. All kinds of different little weather changes going on right now. So we got the guy right here, Captain Scott Null. What we're going to do is let's go ahead and do. Now you may see some dogs in this video. Don't let it alarm you. That's Murphy right there. Let's go ahead and do it. What would Scott do here for the people who like to watch some of the things we're doing on YouTube? If you can kind of take us up and down the coast, we are at the Back Porch Ranch, and it's a beautiful day, a little chilly, and that's kind of a harbinger of things to come. What would you do?
Yeah, well, water temperatures have been steady dropping with this little front that we had. It wasn't a terribly strong front, but it dropped water temperatures, 6 or 8 degrees, which isn't going to really affect things too terribly much. It's not going to put them into a funk or anything for any length of time. Water levels don't look like they really dropped. What I'm looking at here is the tides and currents. This is what I look at all the time from NOAA, and this is the Port O'Connor. And it tells you all the tides, and it gives you the water levels. You can kind of trace it along here and see what time of day it is. And, like right there, that was at 11 or at 9 o'clock last night was the high. And you can kind of trace it along, do the same thing with air temperatures, same thing with water temperatures.
Red line and blue line, explain that.
Red line and blue line on the tide, the red is what it actually is, the blue is what was predicted. So it's following the predictions as far as when the high and low is. It's just a little bit above what it's supposed to be. Each bar is 6 inches, so it's 8 to 9 inches higher than what it should be, according to the forecast. Then you also have your barometric pressure, which
Dang right you do.
doesn't mean a damn thing. That's just worthless information. Then we go on to wind finder. And everybody's always asking us about these apps.
Yeah,
so
it's good to show them.
Might as well show them while we got a chance. This is my Matagorda Bay entrance. That's the one at the Port O'Connor jetties for right now. And today it's light. As you can see out here, it's hardly any wind. We're going to be picking up a little bit northwest, then swinging around north, northeast. And then on Friday, we're going to have quite a bit more wind. And you're going to go fishing that morning, wade fishing with someone who's going to keep you out there all day long. And it's going to be 46 degrees that morning, John, with about 20-mile-an-hour winds. And Pat's going to laugh at you when you tell him, I'd rather go back to the
See,
top.
now he's going to know. I was trying to hatch a plan of having a cramp in my leg or something, so I can't go. But I guess I might have to go in 46 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds, go wade fishing with the great Pat Gardner. All right, so where we are right now with the moon is going to affect things, right?
Right. We're coming off the full moon, and that's never really my favorite. It's not terrible, but it just seems like the fish get
It's
a little
erratic.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's times when they just completely turn off behind that full moon. Your bite ends up, we say it turns off. It's because we fish in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's constant. Everybody gets up in the morning and goes fishing. This time when you're behind the full moons, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and either just hang out a little while and go later,
Yeah.
or
Afternoon.
just stick it out.
Yeah.
But the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, same thing with deer hunting. There's many times I'll walk out here after a full moon and not even go out till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And sit out there from like 9 to 1 and see a lot of deer. There's a lot of movement goes on. Weather-wise, until Friday, it's kind of steady, high 50s, low 60s, moderate winds. If you're off all this week, like a whole lot of people I know are, get on out there, fish. Wednesday, Thursday look pretty good. Thursday looks like a good sight casting day, no clouds. Pretty much the same thing Wednesday. Be a good time to be up on a polling platform, doing something like that, looking and sight casting. Where you're going to be, get up on top of your console as you drift across the flat, and you'll be able to see fish pretty easy. and with a little bit of wind, you're going to be able to get up tighter to them.
Yeah.
You get closer to them before they spook, with a little bit of disturbance on the water instead of dead calm.
Mm-hmm.
Now Friday,
Yeah.
I
I'm feeling a cramp coming on.
I don't know about Friday, man. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not going to be real comfortable. The big trout guys are going to love it. It's time for the big trout thing, and water temperatures drop a little bit more on that front, and it'll get them down into the 50s consistently, probably from here on through January and February.
Yeah.
And so that turns those big trout guys on. They get out there and throw their corkies and do their thing. And
you say that with a little sarcasm in your voice.
occasionally I'll go help them out. I'll go give it a shot, but it's just not my thing anymore, That cold water hurts, man.
Yeah, you're telling me that. I'll give you a report. I'll give you a report on Friday evening.
If y'all missed it, I turned 60 last week. I'm just not feeling
my
that.
gosh. Now Saturday's good
Saturday
again.
looks good again. Saturday drops down below 10. We'll be on the backside of that little front. The front's more of a straight north, so it's not going to drop a huge amount of water out, and it's not terribly strong. Plus, it seems to be hitting kind of on an incoming tide if the timing's right on this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going to offset. I don't think we're going to have that big dramatic drop of water. So tide should be pretty close to what it's predicted. And then Saturday, bright sunshine and light winds.
Let's go.
In the mid-50s. And that'd be a great time to be out there poling around.
Yeah.
Wading up shallow. That sun come out behind the front, warm things up a little bit. I think the fish will move up really, really shallow. Sunday, we do a 180 and it swings right back out of the straight dead south. But by Sunday, everybody's gonna be tired of fishing.
Yeah.
New
Year's Eve.
Yeah. If you got off all week, you're gonna fish all week, and
you got to be home for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, you got to do a little pregame for New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day. Nobody really wants. Most people aren't going to get up and go.
No, that's ham and black-eyed peas.
It's probably a good thing because we're looking at 20 gusting to 30 that morning out of the north. So we're going to have that. Sunday might work out okay. You're going to have the prefrontal southeast wind. It's going to push tides up. If you like going into the back lakes, fish might squirrel up into those back lakes a little bit. They're definitely going to push up on the flats. And I'd say the tide's going to get higher than it should be. And then Monday it's going to blow it right back out. So we're in that seesaw period. Where you just got to keep an eye on the fronts. I get people all the time saying, "Hey man, I want to fish in January with you, or I want to fish in February with you. What do we do? How do we book that?"
Well, let's wait.
You got to stay flexible, and you got to have the freedom to be able to go when the weather's getting right.
Right.
That prefrontal period. If you want to go wade to prefrontal, the immediate right behind the front, I'll skip that. Wait a day. Yeah. And let it calm down. Let it warm back up. Let the sun come out behind those fronts. We're in South Texas. It's going to be 70, 75 degrees.
Pretty soon enough.
In the afternoons, it'll hit 75, sometimes 80. In January. And when that happens with that cold water, water's in your 50s and high 60s, low, mid 50s, that sun gets out there, you can put your hand in the shallow water and feel the difference between that and the deep water. You don't have to have a thermometer. You just reach in there and you can feel it. I picked up a redfish the other morning that came out of a deeper hole. One of the guys cast as we were going crossing the bayou, and it was 6-7 foot deep. And he bumped a soft plastic down there on the bottom.
That one?
Popped a pretty good sized red. We got that red up there, and I reached down and grabbed it. And the redfish felt cold.
Like an ice cube.
Like really cold in my hand. By 4 or 5 hours later, we were catching them up on the flats. They felt normal.
They were warm.
They were fine, and they were a lot more active.
So that was now that's what you call a detailed what Scott do. Were you impressed? Were you impressed? I don't think Murphy was as impressed as the rest of us.
My bullshit over the years, he's just not impressed anymore.
All right, guys, that's Captain Scott Null. Big week. Hopefully you do get some time off this week to go fishing. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and it will be posting if it hasn't posted already. We'll talk to you.